This is the Lake Travis Sports Feed with host Casey Clark.
Reward, fly, gear reward, change clothes, change flows, what a way to impress. It's the mic of the year reward, fly, gear reward. Man, I kill them with the rhymes and the way that I dress. Mic of the year reward, fly, gear reward, change flows, change clothes, what a way to impress. When I die.
Good morning, Lake Travis. I'm joined today with my co-host Sean Bachta. What up? On Lake Travis Sports Feed, and we got plenty of interesting stories to get to you. So basically today is just a punch of NFL in your face. We're going to get you some headlines, some fantasy rankings, and some stories that's going on. Alright, so first we're going to start off with our fantasy rankings, our top 5 each position. And here is our wide receiver. So number 1, we got Calvin Johnson. It's pretty obvious. He broke Jerry Rice's record last year for most yards in a season. Gotta love him.
I mean, great player. Doesn't drop the ball ever, basically. Lions had to ride him the entire season with no sort of running back help, and then Stafford getting pummeled on the line. So
Yeah, I mean, he was basically the whole team, man. Now they're more balanced and have more opportunities to catch the ball. And number 2, I have Brandon Marshall. And last year totaled 11 touchdowns and 1,500 yards. That's some pretty big numbers.
But I have at my number 2 Percy Harvin, and that's just basically because in 9 games he did only have 677 yards and 3 touchdowns. But then again, he didn't have a quarterback really throwing to him. Christian Pollard's not a quarterback I'd like to have throwing to me when I'm such a versatile player. Moving on to number 3.
I got one problem with that, Sean. As you said, he played 9 games. He's a huge injury risk. He's not someone you'd want to pick with your first pick. I mean, I think it's just too risky for me to get him first round, but
I'm not going to waste any time. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm going to waste a first-round pick on him, but I think he's good enough where he is with Seattle now, with Russell Wilson, back with Sidney Rice. That duo was dangerous back with Favre, and clearly Wilson's a much better quarterback than Favre in his quote-unquote heyday, whatever that's supposed to mean.
All right, who you got number 3, Sean?
I got Julio Jones. He Atlanta Falcons wide out, had 1,200 yards last year, 10 TDs. I mean, that's pretty solid for being the first and second option next to Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez. And then they had a balanced attack last year with Michael Turner, although he was not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I got Julio Jones as my number 4. So we're pretty close there, but my 3rd, I got A.J. Green. He has big hands. He doesn't drop balls. He's basically just like you can count on him to make catches, and he's going to make plays for you when you need him.
I agree with that. I mean, I had him at my number 4. I just thought Julio was in a much better position with Matt Ryan rather than with Andy Dalton to become a better playmaker in fantasy. That was just my thought for that.
All right, so my number 5, my last one on the list, it's all about consistency. 6 seasons of 1,100 yards plus. Roddy White. I mean, if you're getting him, you're going to get points. You know you're safe there. I mean, it's just, if you want to make a pick at number 5, you want to make sure your team's going to stay strong. So that's who I got. What about you?
I'm gonna go back to my pick in a second, but I wouldn't have him as high as you would Roddy White. Just based on the fact that he is a quote unquote number 1, number 2, but I think Julio Jones has a much higher ceiling than Roddy White ever could have, and so I see Roddy as the type of player. I mean, obviously he's still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, no doubt, but just because of Julio being there, he's not gonna have as much what's the word for it? I guess opportunities to completely flat out get touchdowns, score, get you fantasy points. And then my number 5, I had Brandon Marshall. I know you had him at 2, but I just couldn't see Jay Cutler throwing you the ball with. I mean, it's Jay Cutler. Let's be honest.
It's improving, but he's getting more chemistry building each year. All right, so now we're going to get into our QBs. Number 1, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
All about Rodgers.
I mean, he has so many weapons to dispose. It's just, he's going to get touchdowns. He's going to get yards. He just can't be stopped.
And, I mean, when you get into that groove like he has in the past couple years, I mean, he's MVP worthy at all times. And the fact that they finally are hoping to get a run game this year with Eddie Lacy, I could just see them being a team that just racks up 5,000 yards receiving. I mean, Rodgers would easily throw 5,000 yards with this core group of guys. I know they lost Jennings, but it's still a really tough team to be in a division that's not so strong. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So far, both the number one's the same for wide receiver QB. But my number 2 QB, I got Peyton Manning, the old man. He had a great addition in the offseason. Wes Welker, your boy from the Patriots. It's just, he's going to get touchdowns. And they got a strong team, so you know they're going to be in the red zone a lot. I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't think that. I know that Manning had Stokely the past couple of years, and that's a good slot receiver for him. But I felt that Stokely is much bigger than Welker, so I feel that they're not going to have great chemistry, and it's going to be a 1-year contract. And like Robert Kraft said, I feel like that's a 1-year contract, and that he's going to be back in New England next season after this one. My number 2, I had my boy Tommy Brady. I mean, just a monster. I mean, I know he's got the new wide receiving core, but he's still got Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski, 2 of the best tight ends you can have in the NFL. They're still dominating red zones, dominating middle of the field. Aaron Hernandez knows how to stretch. He's versatile. Gronkowski's just a monster. I mean, let's be honest.
I just can't see him picking up many yards when he's wearing Uggs on the field, but all right. I mean, with new contract with Uggs, I think it's going to hurt his performance. So, number 3, I got Drew Brees. He had 4,900 something yards last season, like over 5,000 the year before that. He racks up yards. He's got Marcus Colston. He's got Jimmy Graham. He's got all the weapons.
I can't agree with Drew Brees just because of the fact that the offensive line was a little bit screwed up last year. I mean, you watched any of the games against their rival in their division, whether it was Atlanta or Tampa or Panthers, it was just bad. I mean, he had, I think, 5 sacks. He was sacked about 5 or 6 times against Atlanta the last game. He had 5 picks, I think. It was bad. I mean, I couldn't believe it. That because he did that, I won a fantasy game I shouldn't have won, and I made the playoffs. But so I can thank him for that. But my number 3, I had Manning. I know you had number 2, and I got Brady at number 2. But Manning is still a great player no matter what. He still got Demaryius Thomas, still got Eric Decker. I mean, Welker's always going to be good. I just don't feel like they're going to have that chemistry that's going to make them a Super Bowl team. I still think the Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now.
Number 4, dual threat, Cam Newton. Not only can he pass with Steve Smith and all the weapons on his team, he'll rack up yards, but he's also going to run the ball, which is what really gets you points. It's basically like having another running back on your team. I mean, yeah, you get more points for rushing than you do throwing, so why wouldn't you want a man like Cam Newton, RG3 maybe, but with his injury risk I want to get into later, but yeah, I'm really liking Cam Newton
I just don't see him being that great with that division being so tough with Atlanta, and the Saints are going to be good this year with Payne back and the upgrade at defense with Vaccaro and other young talent back there. I really couldn't see him passing that well with only Steve Smith as
Greg
his
Olsen?
biggest. I wouldn't say Olsen's that great though. I mean, Olsen never lit up the scoreboard, any sort of stats for me. I mean, then again, I've lived in the era for tight end as Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, and they're record-breaking tight ends easily.
But he had a monster a few games at the end of the season. He improved steadily, so that's another reason I really like him.
I can agree with that, but I wouldn't have him in my top 5 for fantasy. I had my number 4 as Russell Wilson. Young kid, got some good talent around him with beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. Got some nice wide receivers. Give me that Sidney Rice. Maybe a little Percy Harvin in there. You know, solid little duo right there. You got nice tight end with Zach Miller. I mean, it's a good offense. It's a good offense that has only gotten stronger since last year, and they almost made it to their division championship last year. If it wasn't for some bad defense, which is shocking by me from them, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some mobility. You're right, and again, dual threat, but his team's too good. Is what I'm saying. Like Marshawn Lynch is going to take a lot of points from him.
But it's all about touchdowns. I mean, look at him. He's got 26 touchdowns. That's a rookie record, tied with Peyton Manning. And when you're doing something that Peyton did, let's be honest, he's better than what Peyton was as a rookie. All 8 of him going beast mode.
I guess I can see a little swag factor there, especially with the neon green. But who got number 5?
I have Colin Kaepernick. I thought he had a pretty solid end of the season last year. Only played 8 games, but had 1,800 yards, 10 TDs, 3 interceptions. I mean, I feel like he has got a really high ceiling, so that's just my pick. I mean, solid team, so.
Yeah, I got Matt Stafford. Basically, putting up big numbers, big yards, and he's going to have healthy receivers and by next year. And Calvin Johnson. I mean, there's a lot to like there and a lot of room for improvement. So now I'm going to go with running backs here, and we're running a little low on time before the commercial break, so I'm just going to list my 5 and talk about Doug Martin for you guys. So number 1, I got Adrian Peterson. 2, Arian Foster. 3, my boy Doug Martin. 4, Trent Richardson. And 5, Marshawn Lynch. All right, so now I'm going to talk to you guys about why Doug Martin is such good bang for his buck. So he was a rookie last year, and he had 1,454 yards and 11 touchdowns. And that's a lot to like from a guy in his first year who no one even saw coming. I mean, it's just he's going to improve on his second year, and there's so much to like about him. I mean, it's just I don't understand why he's so still underrated. Like the muscle hamster, I just think he deserves a lot of respect, and I think he will be worth it on the draft board, and he could put up number 1 type numbers.
All right, and my 5, just listing them off. All day, Adrian Peterson. Give me a little bit of Ray Rice. I got Marshawn at number 3. Alfred Morris at number 4, and then I had Stephen Ridley at number 5. And the player I'm going to talk about is, of course, Stephen Ridley.
Not surprised.
I'm a Patriots fan. I got to give my boy some love. So Ridley, I mean, 1,300 yards, 12 TDs. That's pretty solid numbers, given the fact that he didn't have every snap that he could have had. I mean, honestly, I felt like if he was given every possible snap out of that backfield, or at least 70% of them, like he should have been, because the number 1 running back for the Patriots in my mind, he probably would have had at least 1,700 yards. He only had 290 attempts, so I thought that was pretty solid.
All right, so we're about to go to commercial break, but a little sneak peek. We're going to hit you up with some NFL facts and stories and a little bit of trivia after the break.
Tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Tom Brady, bringing you a friendly message from Uggs. Comfortable shoes on and off the field. How do you think I throw so many touchdowns? Uggs got me styling like no other. So basically, you all should get a pair and be styling just like me, Tom Brady. I have the LT Feed quick update for you. The Mariners lose to Indians 0-6 with Madison's 11 strikeouts beating King Felix. Diamondbacks lose to the Marlins 1-2 with Nolasco's 11 strikeouts. Dodgers lose to the Braves 2-5. Braves rallying late in the ninth to get the victory. Red Sox vs. Twins. Red Sox win 5-1, and the Tigers lose to the Rangers 8-11 with Miguel Cabrera's 3 home runs not enough to pull it out. This was Casey Clark with your quick feed update. I'll see you next time, Lake Travis. Welcome back, Lake Travis. Let's dive into some stories now with a relatively short commercial break past us. So, Titus Young. He was arrested 3 times last week. First was alleged robbery, and then he resisted arrest a couple of times after that. So, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him. He got arrested, and his car got towed, so he was like, I'm going to go try to steal my car back while armed. It just doesn't seem like the greatest idea. I mean, he has some serious mental problems. I know all of his past teammates, Calvin Johnson and Stephen Tolik, are praying for him, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to have a career after this. I mean, he's ill. Like, he knows he's ill, and just there's a lot of things wrong with him. I just don't know if any team's willing to pick him up. He was picked up like one day by a team and dropped, and he just really needs to get his act together. I mean,
according to his father, he has a mental illness, but the illness has not actually been, I guess, released or, I guess, diagnosed. It's just been, he's kind of crazy. So, other news for him, his girlfriend or mother of his son has filed a restraining order. So he is going from a good first-round pick to a spiraling out of control player who needs to get his act together, no matter what the situation is. He had a bright future ahead of him, decided to start playing badly, or not really playing badly, but more so acting the fool. And now, I mean, it's going out of hand. It really is.
I don't know what team would pick him up. I mean, at the end of last season, I think he got caught smoking marijuana a couple times.
Yes,
yeah, he got arrested for that. And then he got mad and started running wrong routes because he didn't. I can't really It's not proven, but he was mad at Calvin Johnson, and he wasn't getting as much yards as he wanted. He wasn't getting the stats.
He's playing selfish.
Yeah, then he got arrested 3 times after that, a restraining order. I just don't know what team would pick him up. I don't know what team would be willing to take a risk like that. And at this time, it just doesn't make sense for him to go back on the team. He just needs to get some special treatment and see how that goes and try to advance his personal life first. So, Sean, you got any stories for us?
According to sources, the Chargers are looking at Dwight Freeney right now, possibly a 2-year contract. And Mike McCoy says that it's in the works, so it's looking good.
Yeah, they were top 7 run defense last year, so that helped solidify that. But they do desperately need a pass defense, and Dwight Freeney really could come in there and blow some stuff up.
He's a great pass rusher.
Yep, he is a great player. All right, so now we're going to hook you guys up with some trivia to Sean. See what he knows, see what he doesn't. All right, so here we go. I got 4 questions for you, Sean. You get at least 2 right, you win. All right, number 1. Name 1 player on the Houston Astros.
All right, well, that's a solid question to start with. I'm gonna say if Carlos Pena is still playing, because it's like 90 years old, I'm gonna go and say Carlos Pena playing DH.
All right, so you got lucky. I know you probably cheated there. There's no way you knew that. They're just so bad. I don't know any players. All right. Last year, which QB threw the most yards?
Most yards last year. Pretty sure it was Drew Brees.
It was Drew Brees. I'm gonna up it up to you gotta get 3 right, so you gotta get 1 of the next 2 right, and you win. Because those 2 are easy. I'm pretty sure you cheated anyway. All right, number 3. Which current coach has the most preseason wins?
Jim Schwartz.
It was actually Mike Shanahan.
Really?
Yes, because he has more wins and more losses than anyone else because he's been coaching for longer.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. This is what it all comes down to. If you get this, you own the radio show.
I'm gonna take you to the house, dog. You don't understand.
All
it's
right.
my ratio now.
The 1992 Associated Press Comeback Player of the Year.
You're an awful person. I want to let you know that. God. Jerry Rice.
No. The answer is Randall Cunningham. So I'm sorry, Sean. You don't win the trivia. I said 2, but I think you cheated, so I upped it up to 3. So you didn't win it this round. Better luck next week. But I do feel kind of bad for you, so I'm going to let you hit me up with 4 questions of your own.
All right. Well, my trivia questions are going to be difficult, at least.
All right. Let's do this.
How many wins did the Lions have in 2008?
I know you're just trying to mess with me because the answer is 0, and you're just trying to make me remember that and cry. And it was a sad year, but it was a new NFL record, and I'm proud of that. And I'm proud they were able to improve on that.
Okay. Well, if you 0 wins is where you want to set the bar. Okay.
Can only improve from there, Sean.
The quarterback coach tandem with the most wins in NFL history.
Kill me here, Sean. Is it Brady and Belichick?
It is Brady and Belichick.
That's 2 for me. You probably thought I was going to get that. I just knew you were going to have something dumb about the Patriots.
Name 1 player in NFL history to be named unanimous MVP.
Peyton Manning.
That's wrong. There's only 1 player in NFL history that's actually ever been named unanimous MVP, and his name is Tom Brady.
I hate you, Sean. Stop bringing up the Patriots.
All right. This one's actually going to be difficult. Player with the most rushing touchdowns in Super Bowl.
That is Mean Joe Green. Even though he didn't play running back.
I just want to let you know that's completely wrong.
He doesn't even play running back. I just want to say Mean Joe.
I mean, I guess.
Is it LaDainian Tomlinson?
It's not LaDainian Tomlinson.
I don't think, no, he hasn't been to a Super Bowl.
He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. I'll give you one more guess. Think of all the great running backs in NFL history.
And it's not going to be one of them.
It's going to be one.
Is it O.J. Simpson?
It definitely wasn't O.J.
All right.
Okay, well, it was Terrell Davis.
Oh, what?
Terrell Davis. He was a pretty good running back. I mean, if he was available right now for fantasy, I'd draft him.
How many touchdowns did he have?
I think it was 4.
All right. Well, I got 2 questions right. You got 2 questions right. All works out. So, I mean, it was a good show, Sean. I'm going to see you guys next week, Lake Travis. Thank you for listening to my show. As always, peace on.
Bye.